One of the most rewarding times of my entire running career was back in 2006 and 2007 when I trained and competed in a bunch of 3,000 meter steeplechases. Now, I don't know if you know the steeplechase very well, but it's a track event where they put those big barriers on the track, and they're very different from hurdles. A hurdle, if you hit the hurdle, it falls. If you hit a barrier, you fall. So they are stationary, very large, heavy barriers. And if you're a guy, the barriers are going to be set at 36 inches tall, or 3 feet. I think the women's barriers are 30 inches. And it's just this crazy event. It's a distance race at 3,000 meters, but it has these, I think there's 7 or 8 of these hurdles around the track, and one of them has the water pit, which is kind of a sloped pit of water that comes right after the hurdle that you have to jump on top of and vault yourself over. And you know, this was a very difficult event for me because I'm not the tallest guy, so I'm running over these huge barriers. But one thing that I learned about training for the steeplechase is that as you train for the steeple, you have to do a bunch of other things. You basically have to be a distance runner and a hurdler. And I think there is tremendous value. Even if you never have any intention of doing a race with hurdles or the steeplechase, I think there's a lot of value in doing some hurdle work in your training, because I found that it made me much stronger. It made me a more capable athlete, as I just had better range of motion, I had better mobility, and I had more strength. So I want to go over a couple of the drills that we did very frequently when I was in college training for the steeplechase. And I think if you were to incorporate these into your training, if you were to do these on a regular basis, maybe once or twice a week, twice is probably better, then I think you're going to be a much more athletic runner. It's going to really help with any hip or glute issues that you might be having in terms of both mobility, but also in terms of coordination and making sure that you can move effectively. So I'm going to demonstrate a couple of these exercises, and we'll talk a little bit more about why they're so valuable. Here we have some hurdle rotation drills. And so here, we're going to start in this position. Imagine that we are going over the hurdle, and you'll see that I'm going the normal direction. So I am going up and over. Now we can also switch directions and go the opposite way. And this is really good at not only building mobility and extra range of motion in the hip, but also it's really good for coordination and strength, because if you have never moved that way, it's gonna feel weird. But over time, you're gonna get better at it, you're gonna get more coordinated, improve your mobility, and really help you be able to move through that motion. And so if you're a trail runner, or if you're someone who just wants to be able to generate more power, this is a great exercise for you. This rolling, kind of a dynamic hamstring stretch is one of my favorites, just because it really makes me feel great, and I recommend it. And those are much more formal hurdle drills. We used to do this against a wall in college with an actual hurdle right there to give us some feedback. But part of the purpose of showing you these dynamic exercises in these drills is to show you that you don't actually need hurdles to do hurdle drills and hurdle exercises. So these are really wonderful ways of opening up your hips, developing that mobility and strength, and working on a little bit of that power. You can see I'm a little out of breath because those exercises are a little bit harder than they look. And if you were to incorporate those into your schedule, I think you're really gonna benefit. So even if you're not a hurdler, I hope that you take some of these hurdle drills and use them to your advantage, because they will make you into a better runner.